Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video, we will be creating a dialogue. So what I'm going to do first is just make sure I'm on layer 1. Yep. And then I'm going to create a new object. We're going to pull up the string object. And then what I'm going to do is click the text options here. And what I want to do is where it says font, just single click in there. I'm going to make it 16 bold. I'll leave it at Tahoma, that's fine. And what I want to do is just stretch this out a little bit. And then I'm going to put it around maybe right here. That's fine. Okay, and then let's go here to its settings. And we're going to create a couple of paragraphs. For the first one, we'll say, I don't know, E to interact. The next one we'll do is arrow keys to move. And then the third one I can do Z to jump or double jump. And then I'll create a new one and we'll say X to sprint. Okay. All right, so now that we got that, we need to create an object that we're actually going to interact with. So let's go ahead and create a new active object. And this one I'm just going to place right here. I'm going to rename it to obj sign. And then I'm going to come into it and just edit it here. Let me just delete this. I'm going to make it look like a very basic sign. So maybe like a darkish brown color. I'll do something like that, and then like that. Yeah, that's fine. And then, I mean, you can just like kind of draw in black text. And I'm going to put E here. So that way they know what to press whenever they come up to us. I know this is basic, but that's fine. I mean, that'll work for what we're doing. Okay. So now that we got the sign there, let's go ahead and give it an alterable value. And what we can call this is convo count. And what this is doing, this is referencing the paragraphs that we created. So we're going to say convo count equals 1 if we're on the first paragraph, or 2 if we're on the second one, 3 if we're on the third one, and so forth. Okay, and now let's create a global string variable, so global string, that will allow us to store the data globally, just because it's a little simpler to reference later on, and you'll see why. But all right, and this one we'll call it text to display. All right. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go to our event editor, and I'm going to create a new group, and I'll just call this one dialogue. And let's go ahead and say, let's do a starter frame. And the first thing we want to do is change the alterable string to just blank, right? That way we don't see the text initially, right? Okay. Then what we want to do is say if our object player mask is overlapping our sign, and we press, you can do whatever you want for your interaction, but I'll do E, and we press E. Then what we want to do is, let's see, let's first, we'll change the alterable value also to blank for this, right? And then what we can do is underneath our player, let's go ahead and set a flag to on, and we'll do flag 1. The reason why we're setting it on is because this is going to tell us when we're interacting with the sign and reading the text or not. Okay. Then what we can do is let's go ahead and go to our global value or global string, and we're going to set it to let's go under here and we'll do text of a paragraph, and we'll do the value as our alterable value. If I can find it here. Did I do it under the sign? I did, huh? Values, A to Z, and convo count. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is setting our global string to the convo count. All right, then what we want to do is, let me double check here. Then what we're going to do, yeah, we're going to come over our sign and we're going to increase convo count by 1. So we're going to go add to convo count by 1. And then we want to make it visible, make our string visible, because we're going to be making it invisible. That way it doesn't constantly stay on the screen. So we'll just do visibility, make object reappear, and you'll see when we come to the invisibility. And then what we want to do is, let's see. You know what? Actually, I want to create another variable here because this is how we'll handle it. I was going to do it a different way, but I think this would be much simpler. So let's just create a new alterable value. And what we can do is call this one text display, and then timer, and leave it at 0. Let's go back to our event editor here. And what we can do is, let's see, we're adding 1 to convo count. We did make it visible, so let's go ahead and come under here and we're going to set text display timer to 0. So alterable values, set text display timer to 0. All right. Now what we want to do is say if the flag is on, flag 1, then what we want to do is say every, let's go maybe 10 milliseconds. If the flag is on, then every 10 milliseconds, what we're going to do is change the alterable string, and we're going to use a left $sign. Well, actually, I'll do it an easy way. We're actually going to type it out. We're going to do left $sign, and we're going to do the text to display. So we'll go retrieve a global string text to display, And then what we can do from there is next, well, actually, we'll do the length of our string. And then we need to add one more bracket, but we're going to plus that by 1. Okay. So what this is saying is, all right, so the left $sign, what that does is that will count the amount of letters from the left-hand side of the text, right? So text to display, since that's our convo count, it's going to count every letter for whatever conversation we're currently on. Then we're grabbing the length of the actual string, so the entirety of the paragraph, and we're adding 1 to it. That way it will go line by line, right? Okay. So now what we can do is we're going to do a new condition, and we're going to say underneath this, we can say compare two general values, and we can say if the length of our text to display and we say that's equal to the length of our string, and we got to put one more there. So if it's equal to the length of our string, then we can turn the flag off. So let's go flags, turn off, flag 1. And then we can add 1 to the text display timer. So alterable values, add to text display timer 1. And then all we need to do is say if our text display timer, so alterable values, compare if text display timer is greater or equal to, let's say, 100, then we can make the string invisible. There we go. All right, so let's test this out. All right, so there's our sign. We come up to it, press E. So it says E to interact, and then we press E again. Arrow keys to move, press E again. Z to jump or double jump, X to sprint, and it disappears, right? And now it's always going to be on that last line, and we can go about fixing that at another time, but that's pretty much how you do the display or the dialogue. So let me come here and we'll just go over it all one more time. So at the start of the frame, we're making the text blank. Okay, that way it's just not appearing on the screen. Then if we're overlapping the sign, we press E. We're setting it to blank again. This is just in case there is text on the screen. We're setting our flag to on for our player. And then we're setting text to display, our global value, to contain the convo count. And then we're adding 1 to the convo count. We're reappearing the text if it has disappeared, right? So that's only going to happen if it is invisible. And then we're setting the text display or display timer back to 0. So right here, it's saying if it reaches 100, set it back to 0, right? Now, if our flag is on, then every 10 milliseconds, we're displaying a letter. So this is what this is doing. This is displaying a letter from the left-hand side. And here we're saying if the letter equals the length, or if the amount of letters equals the entirety of the actual string, then we're setting our flag to off, and we're adding 1 to the text display timer. All right, and then for our text display timer, that's just making it invisible, so that way we can hit or E and go to the next paragraph. All right, everyone, well, that's going to be it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one.